Issue 114. We start out with a call for help from Chemical Plant coming into the control center of the Emerald Hill Village. So does everyone on the planet have this place's phone number? Do the freedom fighters get lots of pointless calls from fanboys or telemarketers? It would be kind of funny as a brief gag to actually see that happen. After Sonic tells Kintabor to put it on the screen, he's told that whoever's trying to contact them is only transmitting audio. That's suspicious. Is it Eggman then? Sonic is told about a serious malfunction that could lead to a lot of pollution, and Tails assumes it's a trap. Naturally, though he doesn't say it's because of the only transmitting audio thing. While Sonic assumes they got nothing to worry about with Eggman in the Dragon Empire, even though he's had plenty of other enemies than him. So for once, it's only Tails who's genre savvy and smart. Well, I guess that is the way it should be. After they go to Chemical Plant Zone, Sonic sees the Marxio brothers, who own the place now. Turns out they were pardoned by the Mobians because they were misled by Eggman, apparently. After Sonic learns that the incompetent of the brothers is in charge of the plant's safety, which might explain the problem with it, he warns Sonic that the factory is about to blow up. Tails again accuses this of being a trick as the genre-savvy one, this time asking the question I was thinking earlier. Why don't you send in your own technicians? They're not experts at fixing power plants. He's told that the technicians all ran away scared to death, and he dismisses them all as crazy. Tails says the place they're in looks like the place where Eggman makes Mega Mac. And despite there clearly being Mega Mac all over the place, Sonic dismisses them as worrying too much. Gee, Sonic's really written like an idiot in this story. Tails asks Sonic how he knows the right way to go, and he's told that he has an instinct for these kinds of things, which always turns out to be true because he's the creator's pet, even though it would have been funny if he was wrong and they had to go back the way they came. I mean, it would have wasted a panel or two, but it would have been amusing. Some hands reach out for the Mega Mac, and someone that Sonic doesn't recognize says that they meet again. He gets Mega Mac thrown at him, and he worries that he's already feeling dizzy, and he'd end up seriously poisoned if he was here for too long, showing consequences with being in the poison. Is this the same villain who is the scientist made Mega Mac? Why'd he say we meet again then? Is he just messing with him since he's formed multiple bodies? Sonic runs around in a circle of super speed around the monster and is told that he can't destroy a non-solid enemy. I guess he forgot about the last time he fought him. Tails shows faith in Sonic and then says they're not so tough because they're trying to get away. They go to a place full of Mega Mac, and the story ends with Sonic being told that in a few moments the factory will explode and the Mega Mac will flood the Emerald River and head towards Emerald Hill Zone, making the place so polluted that nothing will be able to grow there for a century. Again, what does he have to gain from doing this? Is he sadistic? In the next story, back in the El Dorado Zone, we see Tails getting blamed for the theft of a gold trophy from someone's house, and after he comes towards some people saying that it couldn't be him because he's right here rather than in the house, one of them says that he's always been a fast mover. He lampshades why he turned to crime since he's a freedom fighter, and instead of the people actually saying, maybe it's because Sonic bullies you, or maybe you feel unappreciated, instead the people make lame excuses about society and parents, with none of them wondering if Tails got bored from Eggman being gone and wanted some thrills that he couldn't get otherwise anymore, which would have been another better excuse. Tails gets grabbed from behind, but decides not to escape because that would make him look guilty, and instead asks to prove his innocence. Surprisingly, they let him go instead of sending him to jail like would be realistic. I guess it's because he's a hero already, and they want to have some faith in him for being a hero normally. After what was looking the entire time like a cool shadow version of Tails reveals himself to be a boring Mobian when he discovers that a bike he wants to steal is just painted gold. Tails finds out that the fake Tails doesn't look anything like him, and just has two giant leaves attached to him in a green suit. This is incredibly disappointing. He could have been another two-tailed fox, and gotten Tails surprised and disappointed by the fact that the only person he has to relate to is this. Or he at least could have been an actual Fox Mobian, and not whatever this thing is. He says the bike was just a setup, flies away really fast, and Tails flies after him as the thief flies with its mechanical wings. The leaf says that he wants the world to know he's the one doing the thievery now. Somehow. You want people to know you're guilty? And after saying Tails is too tired to keep up, the batteries in his mechanical wings run out at just the right time, and Tails says that he was waiting for this. Was he really? For some reason, Tails catches him. Probably just to prove to people that this guy really was the one who did the stealing. And the people who had accused Tails don't own up to it and apologize. Was one of them lying that he knew he was really innocent all along? You know, you could at least have one of them hug Tails. After the story ends with an out-of-place pun, the next story begins. Amy and Techno drive a spaceship that the aliens gave them off-screen, with Amy complaining that they're still lost despite having a map. They must be really, really lost. Amy decides to stop at a blue planet that looks suspiciously like Earth and asks for directions. Techno hopes the heat shields of the spaceship can handle entering atmosphere, as I wonder why she'd say that, since what kind of a spaceship wouldn't? And they get stopped by a human scientist looking through binoculars. In a secret underground base a few miles away, a soldier tells a colonel that they have confirmed readings of a true UFO landing. And the colonel says he's waited years for this, because apparently he's an alien believer as a colonel. And this is what Operation Star Watch was set up for. Because conveniently they landed right where these particular guys were waiting for them. Meanwhile, after the professor greets the heroes slowly as if that would be useful if they didn't know English to begin with, I immediately question why he even assumes they all speak the same language and why they actually do. Since this planet is full of people who don't know other people in other worlds exist at all. So Moby and English shouldn't have spread here. I guess the creators of the universe were really lazy and decided to just write into fate that everybody spoke the same language just for the sake of simplifying things. But that's not how linguistics work. You have separate pools of people, they're going to start talking differently. After Amy cheerfully asks if all Earthlings talk so slow, which makes sense of her to assume from ignorance, she says she's not an alien, failing to get that it's a matter of perspective. Coincidentally, there was a realistic hedgehog right here that the scientists could point out to Amy as being what Earth hedgehogs look like, rather than him just showing a picture of a realistic hedgehog on a cell phone. And Amy remarks, "Not as good looking, isn't?" That made me smile. I didn't expect vanity from Amy. After the professor says they could be newsworthy, he says that he's trying to build a gateway to infraspace to access any planet, and that could help them. After Techno starts helping finish his data, as I think about how lucky it is that this guy happened to be building a gateway to infraspace right when they showed up, the door's kicked down, and they're cornered and arrested by soldiers who naturally assume that they're trying to contact an invasion fleet. These guys have watched way too many sci-fi movies, and I guess it is smarter to be safe rather than soaring, but still, you could at least talk to them first. The first story was by Nigel Kitching, and it's about the Marxio brothers hauling Sonic and Tails over to Chemical Plant Zone because thanks to a Mega Mac villain, it's about to explode and make Emerald Hill Zone uninhabitable. The second and third stories were by Lou Stringer, and the second one was kinda disappointing, as I was hoping that the villain would either be a literal shadow version of Tails, since he was shown in a silhouette that'd be totally unrealistic to keep being that way in that lighting all the time, or I was hoping it'd be a two-tailed fox at the very least. But instead of it being an evil alternate version of Tails with a fruity excuse, or a creation of Eggman's, it's not even a fox, just some ugly guy in a stupid costume who flies with mechanical tails. That was disappointing. It's a twist, but that doesn't make it good. Whatever. I also hate that nobody apologized to Tails and just tried to lie to his face about believing he was guilty. And the third story had Amy and Techno crash land on Earth when trying to get home to Mobius in a UFO, and the predictable happens. And also they got very lucky. I like this handling of Earth a little better than Archie, where Mobius was Earth after 1,000 years after aliens bombed it, which wasn't the worstest thing ever, but was still unnecessary. It would make more sense if they were separate planets.